Welcome. Today I'm going to talk about the Breachpen lighting procedures. It's a critical first step in using this tool, which is to get it ignited effectively and then to maximize your time of placement and pressure while you're cutting. Let's talk about it. Proper assembly from the unconfigured state is to reverse plunge the rod into the sheath, which now becomes your handle. I like gripping with my non-dominant hand at that point and pulling the cap off, which has the match lanyarded to it. At that point, I keep the pen in my working space choked up on the sheath, and then also I choke up a bit on the match to get a firm grip. Place the match at the bottom of the rod where the strike paper begins and vigorously strike up. That will give you a delayed flash point with the match. You're going to make good contact and placement on the edge of the rod. If you don't get at that initial ignition, just track alongside and you'll see a second flash. What I'm going to demonstrate now is an incorrect technique that we've seen used in trying to cut with the Breachpen, and it's the hover technique. As you can see, it's a little shaky. I'm not actually cutting with pressure. My placement might be good, but this is what we see happens to folks that don't go through any type of training with the tool. To beat the learning curve, you really need the pressure. So I just used the hover technique to try to cut through this chain. The hover technique is, well, it's not a technique. We don't recommend using it, and all it is the standoff that we see folks use if they haven't been through the training. And so here on the chain, you have a weld. It started to heat up the metal, but the pressure wasn't there to finish the cut or press through the metal. Therefore, it's an invalid technique. Recommend not using it. And the purpose of this video is to show you the correct placement and pressure when cutting. I have around a 3/8 chain, likely zinc coated here, hung. I just showed the invalid hover technique that we find folks doing if they haven't been through training to know about the pressure and the placement. Remember the correct lighting procedures: rod tip down, strike vigorously, make good contact, the edge, and then when you see the second flash, drop. So I'm going to cut this like it's on a horizontal plane, so that's anything that is parallel to the ground, and I'm really pressing in with some good firm contact to the point where I can definitely feel that the rod is on metal. And that will give me plenty of burn time left that I could still be cutting. Then if you are cutting through some of this not as thick stuff, you can move up at that point and try to cut through the thicker metals. Prepare for the unexpected.